Hey guys, so today we're going to be comparing the difference between a GoPro Fusion, Blackmagic cinema camera, and an iPhone X. We want to see how a sports camera, a professional camera, and a consumer camera handle the same job. To do this, I took all three cameras to Ripley's aquarium to see how each camera performs under a series of tests. I first wanted to see how each camera performed in dark environments with very little light. For this Blackmagic shot, I used a 24 to 70mm zoom lens, whereas on the iPhone I zoomed in as far as I could. The iPhone zoom in dark background resulted in a pretty noisy looking scene. However, when looking at the Piranha footage back to back, I felt that both shots were pretty comparable. Unfortunately, the GoPro Fusion didn't hold up the best in low light either, as the ISO needed to be turned up to 6400. While this made the footage visible, the blacks looked pretty muddy and the footage overall was pretty grainy. Next, I wanted to see how each camera would perform when tracking a moving subject. In this case, I decided to use sharks as the moving subjects. The Blackmagic cinema camera is pretty bulky and heavy compared to the GoPro Fusion and iPhone X. This added weight made it harder to get smooth handheld shots. The tracking on the GoPro Fusion was, however, much easier as it was done with keyframes in post-production. This made tracking significantly smoother as panning, tilting, and rotating could all be automated. This allowed me to also decide what I wanted to include in the frame, meaning I could show the shark's entire body or I could just show its head. The iPhone X was actually also surprisingly smooth. However, it should be noted that the iPhone X footage was taken on a moving walkway, whereas the previous Blackmagic footage was actually shot while walking on foot. The GoPro Fusion by far had the most impressive zoom capabilities. I was blown away by not only how much I could zoom in, but likewise how good the 5.2K footage looked in a 1920 by 1080 sequence, even when it was cropped so much. As for the Blackmagic camera, I likewise decided to do all the zooms in post, as I generally find they're smoother than using actual lens zooms. While the Blackmagic results were pretty standard, it did hold up comparably better than the iPhone zoom. For the last test, I wanted to see how each video held up when I applied some stylized effects. I added a standard glow effect to both the Blackmagic and iPhone clips and found that both held up pretty well. I first tried the immersive VR effect, before I then exported the 360 footage as a 2D video. I then took the 2D clip and added the same standard glow. While the results weren't drastically different, I did feel that the immersive VR glow held up slightly better. Each camera came with its own share of pros and cons, and while I ultimately found that each camera produced comparable results, it's really dependent on what the user intends to use the camera for. The Blackmagic can record on a variety of different codecs, including RAW and ProRes 422. The iPhone X's camera boasts some impressive features. It shoots 4K at 60 frames per second, it's lightweight, and the footage overall looks pretty good. However, unlike professional cinema cameras and Android phones, certain key features such as manual focus, white balance, ISO, and shutter speed aren't available. The GoPro Fusion has undoubtedly come a long way from the traditional 360 cameras that used to require you to stitch multiple shots together. It allows you to get interesting perspectives, zooms, and transitions that would otherwise not be possible with a traditional 2D camera.